we've seen them, whether it's against Tarek Skubal or I forget who Lopez from the A's, lefties.
Yep.
They're now at a point roster-wise as a lineup where they can't put more than 7 right-handed hitters in a lineup against the left-handed pitcher. And a lot of the times it's only been 6 because Gasper, who's a switch hitter, is now your backup catcher, and you don't necessarily want both your catchers in the lineup every time. And so they've had spots, I know against Skubal and I think against Lopez too, during this past homestand, where you had 3 left-handed hitters in the lineup against the left-handed pitcher. Now, that's not the end of the world. There are good teams. Let's say the Phillies, for instance. If you watch the Phillies face a left-handed pitcher, you will see near the top of their lineup Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper.
Right.
And maybe another lefty, who knows, some lefty at the bottom of the lineup, whatever, Max Kepler, whatever it is.
You don't see Max Kepler there very much.
Right. Yeah, some lefty. And it's like, well, is that a death sentence? No, because that's like when the Twins used to have Mauer and Morneau in the lineup. If a lefty is good enough overall, an all-star level hitter, then even knowing that they're going to be significantly worse against lefty pitching, because that's just the reality for 99.9% of left-handed hitters, they're significantly worse is still pretty good because they're starting from an overall level. Well, the guys the Twins are using now, Cody Clemens and Trevor Larnach and Eddie Julian and, fill in the Matt Wallner, fill in the blank with all these lefties. These guys are not that good. And so the fact that they have 3 of those guys in the lineup, and hell, Larnach was batting 3rd against the lefty the other day. Like, they just don't have, that's not by choice, believe me. And the Twins have shown over the years that they prefer to platoon those guys. And they're not alone there too. Most smart teams prefer to platoon all left-handed hitters who are not great hitters. Deserve to be platooned because most of the time even a mediocre right-handed bat will be more productive. That's just out of the Twins' tool bag. They just don't have the ability to do that because, whether it was Alan Roden at first, who's a lefty, now he's hurt. They call up James Outman, who's a lefty. Like, they just don't have any right-handed bats.
You said it's a roster deficiency. It's really an organizational deficiency, right? It's not that they don't have people who bat right-handed in AAA that they could add to the roster. It's that they don't have hitters in AAA that are right-handed that they can add to the roster, like real hitters.
And most of the guys that, whether it's Sabato or McCusker, and clearly they don't think McCusker is a major leaguer. I suspect they probably feel the same about Sabato, and I don't feel strongly the other way. Like, I don't know. I think it's probably a decent chance. But even with those guys who have some right-handed thump at least, well, Sabato's a poor defensive first baseman. And McCusker can like fake it in left or right field and be a below average. Like, they don't have anybody who can play defense in a way that would like get them into the lineup. Austin Martin is the closest thing to that, but also Austin Martin's bat, while right-handed, is not exactly potent, really, at least what he's shown so far. So they're at a weird disadvantage, and it plays out not only, and like we said, who cares? Like, give these guys at bats, maybe Larnach or Wallner or whoever shows that they can put up more of a fight against lefties than you came into the season thinking, and maybe that opens your eyes a little bit to them being more of a regular. I think more likely it will sort of confirm their opinions that none of these guys are more than platoon players. But either way, okay, you got 3 guys in the lineup against lefties that you'd prefer not be in the lineup. That's going to lead to some offers at the bottom of the lineup. That's going to maybe lead to a loss or 2 more. First of all, who cares about that? But beyond that, you also see it in the tactical maneuvers that they're able or unable.
This was what I was going to bring up. Is that just one thing to see them in the left-handed, to see them versus left-handed starters and take a look at the lineup and go, why is Wallner batting? Oh yeah, we're facing a lefty, But it's another thing that we're just seeing it in a lot of these close games. We're being attacked with left-handed pitchers late in the innings because they know that Rocco doesn't have a card to go. He doesn't have the card is oftentimes Mickey Gasper batting right-handed, which isn't particularly his best. Like, that's the option. I either am going to keep Larnach in there or Cody Clemens in there or Matt Wallner in there, or I'm going to pinch hit with Mickey Gasper batting from probably his weaker side.
The card is you slam down the deuce of hearts. Boom. Well, how does that change things? Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't actually. And it is weird because even in games started by a lefty or started by a righty, you get into, like you said, these late innings, like the Tigers brought in Horton, their lefty setup man, and to face like the 6, 7, 8, 9 of the Twins. And the 6, 7, 8, 9 was 3 left-handed batters and Brooks Lee, who is a switch hitter who's worse from the right side.
Yep.
And I mean, Horton had to be, he's good, first of all, in general, but he had to be just licking his chops because a standout.
So was the manager. Yeah.
Well, right. But a standout left-handed setup man is so rarely going to be given an opportunity where you can just have a run of 4 guys, 3 of whom are lefties and 1 is a righty who can't really do much damage against you. You're so rarely not going to see in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning just kind of a free runway to blitz through those guys because, like you said, there just aren't any cards to play off the bench. And look, who cares? They're going to lose games. It doesn't matter. Right. But like you said, this is more an organizational thing where, I mean, we've made it a joke kind of on the podcast where every offseason and every trade deadline, I say, you know what I think they could really use? A right-handed hitting power corner outfielder. Right. And it's been, 7 years of me calling for that, and they never had it. And guess what? I'm going to say that this offseason too, because they could use it, and they never seem to have it. Yep. And that is one of the ways in which they are not learning anything of value down the stretch by letting Eddie Julian strike out against lefties. And, that's just a deficiency that has been a deficiency for them for years. They've tried to bring in guys like Manny Margot or Kyle Farmer to sort of counteract that as right-handed bats, but now they don't even have that. And so now it's just good luck, boys, lefty on lefty, have fun. And by the way, this is something that a certain segment of the fan base has been calling for years.
Sure.
Why do they platoon? Just let the good luck. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the 140 batting average that the lefty on lefty situations are going to produce.
Just to deliver one final blow to this dead horse as well. Because there are so many now left-handed guys that have to be in the lineup first, you can only hide so many of them. Baldelli wants to get some runs. He wants to get some production out of a lot of those right-handers, and he's kind of putting them at the top of the lineup. So you get a 6, 7, 8, 9, which includes 3 left-handers, and then the switch hitter whose bad side is the left side, or good side. Good side is the left side, and what that means is that even when the left-hander leads the game, as the opposing manager, you can come in with the right-handed reliever for the top of the lineup, and you can come in with a left-handed reliever for the bottom of the lineup, and it's.
They are very easy to play against, both in terms of talent and performance, but also strategically. And that is not a knock on Baldelli, because one of the things we've learned over the last 5 or 6 years about Baldelli, and I've had multiple conversations. First of all, Baldelli loves switch hitters because of what we're talking about, because it makes it impossible for the opposing manager to sort of flip your lineup upside down and kind of play to their strengths. But also when Baldelli has a full complement of players at his disposal, he will almost always attempt to alternate righties and lefties, or at least have a switch hitter in there to break it up to have the same effect. Like he will bat. We talked over the years, he was constantly searching for a left-handed number 2 hitter. And sometimes that was like Max Kepler, even though he wasn't deserving. A lot of times it was like Jorge Polanco as a switch hitter. Like he would constantly be trying to find a left-handed hitter, because whether it was like Buxton and Donaldson and Nelson Cruz, or Buxton and Correa and now Keisha, like there were a lot of their better hitters, and I'll include Jeffers in there now, I guess, were right-handed. But you didn't want to have 5 righties to start the lineup, because then in the late innings, you can just bring in a righty and try to blitz through them. And like you said, you can now do that kind of both ways, which presents a real difficult situation.
And welcome to the end of this video. There's lots more. For another, just click on one of these boxes.
Or click on this circle in the middle to subscribe to all of our Twins Talk.
Thank you.
Gleeman